Hello, this is Bishop Manigault. Welcome to Bishop's Corner. Thank you for stopping by. I wanted to pick up on a conversation we began last time. We were talking about men and women, and specifically the family, and it being God's great idea. In our previous video, I shared with you that I was somewhat taken back by Justice Ketanji Jackson's seeming reluctance to answer a very direct question about what is a woman. And I shared with you that it was of great concern to me that someone who's going to sit on the highest court in the land, whose job is, by the way, to make judgments about what is right and what is true, seemed to be very reluctant to go on record as to what was right and true regarding a very straightforward matter. And in fact, it appears she found it somewhat controversial to answer the question. So in fairness to Justice Jackson, I thought it would maybe be helpful to play the exchange between her and Congresswoman Blackburn. And I would like to make a couple of comments on that, and let's go on to our discussion about men and women and as it relates to the family.
Let me ask you this then. United States versus Virginia, the Supreme Court struck down VMI's male-only admission policy. Writing for the majority, Justice Ginsburg stated, supposed inherent differences are no longer accepted as a ground for race or national origin classifications. Physical differences between men and women, however, are enduring. The two sexes are not fungible. A community made up exclusively of one sex is different from a community composed of both. Do you agree with Justice Ginsburg that there are physical differences between men and women that are enduring?
Senator, respectfully, I am not familiar with that particular quote or case,
Okay.
so it's hard for me to comment as to whether
all
or
right.
not.
I'd love to.
So here you saw the first part of the question that was asked Justice Jackson regarding her thoughts on the differences between men and women as it relates to a particular Supreme Court case that was actually adjudicated by none other than Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and it was a landmark case that was brought by people who sued the Virginia Military Institute, which is a military academy that at the time allowed only men to come. And the question was pretty straightforward, and she was asked regarding Judge Ginsburg's comment about men and women, the difference between them being fungible. That means, are they interchangeable? Again, it was not a trick question by any sense of the imagination. It was a very direct question trying to gauge from Justice Jackson her view regarding uh, most likely sex and gender, since it is something that's very hotly debated in our time. And you see from the clip that Justice Jackson's remark was she wasn't familiar with the quote, and also it seemed to say she wasn't familiar with the case. Bottom line, she was generally reluctant to directly answer the question. So a couple of things came to mind when I saw that interchange, and that Judge Jackson graduated from Harvard Law School in 1996, which is the same year that that case was decided. And it was a very widely known case. It definitely would have been covered in law school if you graduate of law school in that year or the case came down. You would have known all about that case. And since it was RGB's case, it was considered a monumental decision. She wrote the deciding opinion, I believe, as well, and it was a 7-1 vote. So I was curious that her response was very lawyer-esque in that I'm not familiar with the quote, not familiar with the case. Bottom line, did not answer the question. So you're going to see Congresswoman Blackburn try again to see if she can get her on record as to her views. And these are going directly to the question of the sex and gender, or the difference between men and women. So here's the second attempt.
All right. I'd love to get your opinion on that, and you can submit that. Do you interpret Justice Ginsburg's meaning of men and women as male and female?
Again, because I don't know the case, I don't know how I interpret it. I need to read the whole
Okay.
thing.
So there you have the second attempt by Congresswoman Blackburn to get a direct answer to the question. She asked a very direct question. Do you interpret Justice Ginsburg's use of the words men and women to be, in essence, the same as male and female? And again, notice that Justice Jackson sort of doesn't want to answer the question, does not answer the direct question, very straightforward, and seems to be uncomfortable going on record that there is a difference between men and women or male and female.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the
biologist.
meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
Senator, in my work as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the
All right.
law and I decide.
There you have the last attempt by Congresswoman Blackburn to get a direct answer to a direct question. Justice Jackson's refusal to answer this question is problematic. Of course, she knows what a woman is and knows that she doesn't have to be a biologist to give a definition for this word. What's going on is that in our present time, there is a serious attempt to redefine what it means to be a man or a woman. In her attempt to be politically correct, Justice Jackson showed that she has already decided that this definition is now up for dispute. So now we have on the highest court in the land people like Justice Jackson who are unclear about the self-evident truth that a woman is an adult female and a man is an adult male. With all due respect to Justice Jackson, what it means to be a woman or a man is actually not in dispute. When God created the first man and woman in the garden, he placed them together in the bond of love and in the bond of their flesh. He actually married them as well. They were husband and wife. According to Genesis 1, God made man, which is mankind, by the way, in his own image and likeness. And for those who take issue with the reference of man for men and women, your argument is with God, not with me. God called the female and the male mankind. He made them one with him and one with each other. Furthermore, according to the word of God in Genesis, God blessed them, that would be the male and the female, and gave them dominion over all that he made. And from this we see that God intended for the husband, the male, and the wife, the female, in a relationship called the family. They were to fill the earth with the image and likeness of God. See, together we were made to fulfill God's divine purpose. Families, just like men and women, were created by God. God made Adam and Eve to complement one another, not to compete with one another. God made husbands and wives to promote one another, not to play or exploit one another. There is no replacement for the family. It is God's great idea, and there is no replacement for the male and female, who both have a unique and special role to play in the family. Our foolish attempts to redefine male and female, men and women, has already damaged our society and will continue to do so in a very destructive and tragic way. Well, it looks like my time is up for now, but I do thank you for yours. Until next time, God bless. Bye-bye.